This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And, it's kind of just the same it's been for the last 6 weeks, guys. I appreciate you guys continuing to join because of how miserable, frankly, it's been, not watching the team because it's always a joy to watch baseball, but it's been miserable to see the outcomes of this game is the way to put it. And this was another one, I thought the Rays outplayed the Mariners today. I really do. And you can't give up 3 hit-by pitches, all with 2 strikes. You can't walk another 5 people, another eight free passes today. 2 of those free passes came to score in the first inning alone. It's just unacceptable. You're not going to get much done doing that against a team that I think is the best in the American League. It's as simple as that. So we're going to talk about how the Rays went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position, Hauser's nightmare first inning, how the Rays are running out of time. And these next 2 series are going to determine the Rays season. Either they win both series and they get the Yankees at home and, anything can happen down the stretch, or, they come back from this California road trip, going, 6-10 on, no, they won't play 16 games, but, 4-8 on this road trip. That's what's going to determine it. And then we're going to look ahead to the game in Sacramento. But first, we got to talk about all the missed opportunities.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So Brian Wu is a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong. He threw 60 fastballs, 23 sinkers. That is 73 pitches that can classify, quote unquote, as a fastball. The Rays, outside of Hyun-Soo Kim and Chandler Simpson, were surprised when he threw a fastball. I mean, I hate singling people out, but Tristan Peters is so late on every single fastball that Wu threw. It's kind of astounding. And, look, yes, he's sprinkling the slider, mostly lefties, but I get hitting 94, 96 is hard, but when it's your job and it's right down the middle almost every single time, I expected the Rays to come back and score at least 3 runs like they did. But the fact that they didn't add more is frustrating. And that 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position is the most frustrating. And that's where we get to our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The turning point isn't the nightmare first inning. Hauser came in and battled his butt off after that. I'll tell you what, man. You have a decision after that first inning when you throw 40 pitches. You can either bow out or you can keep competing. Adrian Hauser kept competing. And that's something I have the utmost respect for him for. The turning point is the 5th inning when the Rays get a Chandler Simpson double to tie the game, or to have the runner on base to tie the game with your 3 best hitters up. 3 best hitters, Yandy, Brandon Lounge, and Junior. Strikeout, ground out, ground out. Simple as that, man. Simple as that. That is the turning point. Right from then, right there, I knew the Rays weren't going to win. 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. First and second in the 8th after Naylor hits the home run. You have Fiducia, left on left, I get it, but, left on left with the guy that's throwing 40 pitches. Shout out to Josh Naylor for an incredible at-bat before that. Pop out, and then, not Morel. Hyun-Soo Kim comes in and grounds out. So it's tough, man. Those 2 points I look at more than the blow up in the first inning, because there becomes a point where your guys need to step up. That's the point where Yandy needs to step up. That's the point where Brandon Lau needs to step up and get a big time hit. And I'm not even going to big on Junior, because Junior has been the best player the Rays have had over the last 3 weeks. So just right then and there, it's just, man, like, we're right there again. Every team in front of the Rays in the wild card stand is lost. All of them. And this was your chance. This was it to gain some more ground and then go into Sacramento. But now you're probably going to need to finish this road trip 5-1. You're probably going to need a sweep in there. You're probably going to, at the very minimum, need to go 4-2. And, what confidence do you have in the Rays to do that right now? I don't have any, to be completely honest with you, for the Rays to go out and win 2 series against teams that are also below 500. The A's are one of the 6 worst teams in baseball. The Giants are very similar to the Rays. So, you got to start putting together a streak if you want to get back in this. We've talked about it, winning 8 of 10. And the Rays' most winnable part of their schedule is coming up in the second half. They get the A's, they get the Giants, they get the Yankees, they get the Cardinals. They go on the road to Cleveland and Washington. They play a lot of teams that's ahead of them. Cleveland and Yankees, 2 teams that's ahead of them. The other teams out of the playoff picture. If you want to go on a streak, now's the time. We'll know everything we need to know about the Rays by this time next week. And for some people, it kind of, I'm not going to say myself included, but it's easy to say, oh, they're already out of it now. I won't say they're completely out of it now. They're 5.5 back or whatever they are. They can still go on a run. But if they don't go on this run, starting with these next 6 games, then at that point it's hard to keep the faith. It really is. The Yankees are up there begging for someone to take that final wildcard spot, begging somebody, please come take the spot from us. And Cleveland ran with it. Texas, to an extent, ran with it. The Rays, quivered when they had the opportunity, and it's been frustrating. And now more than ever, these last 2 games, you've missed Jonathan Rondo. Big time. But guess what? He's not coming back anytime soon. I hope that the Tristan Peters experiment is over. He seems like a great kid. That's great. We need results. We need someone to come up from AAA. And if you're going to play every day, you need to be productive. He was not productive. In fact, he was the opposite of productive. I expect to see the guy we got back from the Yankees in the Cabby trade up at some point, hopefully, because the Rays play 2 lefties in that series against the A's. But yeah, it's just frustrating, guys. I'm with you. Rays probably should have won 2 games in this series. They 100% should have won on Friday. And I thought they outplayed the Mariners today for, the middle 6-7 innings. And then, let's go back through the first inning, which we're going to talk about and more right after this. This episode is brought to you by Game Day Hue. And so is this hat that I'm wearing. For Rays fans like you and for like me, this one hits the mark. Game Day Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, or anywhere in between. And you guys, I like this style because it has the new kind of in-rope trend, and it's just simple. You can wear it anywhere. You can wear it, like they said, playing golf. You're not a golfer. You can wear it on the boat. It's 1,000,000 degrees in Tampa right now. It's breathable in the back, so it's perfect. Also, it's not just hats. If you're into golfing, they also have golf gloves with the Rays colors as well. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So now's the time to load up. Let your colors talk because colors speak louder than words. That's GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So take a flyer on the MVP race. If you think Baker's win the MVP, you can put Baker in at a good price on August 26th. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. Because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. So let's talk about the first inning. Because I've talked about repeatedly, walks, hit by pitchers, any free passes allowed kills the Rays. First batter that Hauser faces, Arozarena, Randy, hit by a pitch. Next batter, homer, Cal Raleigh. Simple as that. Hit by a pitch. If you don't hit him by the pitch, it's 1-0 instead of 2-0. Scores 5 instead of 3. Let's keep that in mind. Rodriguez singles, Naylor walks. Suarez on a balk. Both runners advance. Suarez singles. Instead of it being 2-0, it's 4-0. So again, if you don't get up the free passes like the Rays have just been handing out like candy, it's now 4-3 instead of the final score 6-3. So in the first inning alone, we see the free passes come back to haunt the Rays. Now let's go to the 8th. Garver, the worst hitter that the Mariners had in their lineup, walked. What does that do? Pushes Polanco up to second base. What happens the very next batter? Single. If the walk is initiated there, now you don't know what happens. Maybe it's a ground ball to get him over, but we're working with the information we have. Walks cost the Rays in some capacity 3 runs. And it's as simple as that. Cost the Rays 3 runs. And I've been saying the 2 things that have bugged me about the Rays is the way that they've just handed out free passes and how they failed to respond when the Mariners scored. The Rays did one of those things today. I was super proud of how the Rays fought. They responded when the Mariners scored. Josh Lowe double, Kim a double and a homer, Chandler a double and a triple. Yandy eventually getting Chandler in. But when you have those opportunities to limit the free runners, and then when you pair that with you going 1 for 11 with scoring position, when you give up 8 free passes, 5 of the walk and 3 by hit by pitch, and go 1 for 11 with runs in scoring position, I mean, you're lucky to even be within a run like the Rays were. We're lucky to end up being within 3 runs, like the Rays ended up being. It's just unfortunate. Unfortunate to say the least. But if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a like and comment. We'll be getting to the comments right after we preview the game tomorrow, as the Rays will head south from Seattle back into the state of California to face the Athletics. And it will be former Rays man Jeffrey Springs going up against the Rays. He is 10-7 with a 3.8 ERA, doing Jeffrey Springs things, getting the ball in the zone. Last time out against the Nationals, dominant. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. His time before that out against these very Mariners, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned. He's given up 2 runs or less in each of his last 3 starts. Last time out against the Rays, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned. He did give up 3 walks, the most walks he's given up in a game, since the month of June happened. So in that game for the Rays, Morel had a home run, Brandon Lau had a home run. So I expect both those guys to be in the lineup tomorrow. That lineup, it looked like Yandy Curtis Mead is no longer on the team. Junior, Brandon Lau, Morel, Josh Lowe, a lot of guys that aren't on this team anymore. But so, I expect hopefully to get some reinforcements in the outfield, a right-handed bat, and kind of go from there. So again, the recipe is simple. The Rays need to score first. The Rays record when they score first, I think, is like 40-19 or something crazy. So yeah, need to score first. Simple as that. As we go to, let's get to some comments here. We'll go to Jack's takes. Says, are they comfortable with the situation or powerless to do anything about it? Either is unacceptable for a winning team. Again, guys, there's some comments. Is this team better than last year's team? Let me guys know right now. Is this team better than last year's team? Yes. This team has been incredibly snake bitten. I believe this team's expected win-loss record is like 8 games over 500. At some point, the Rays, it's on them to get the wins. But the Rays were one of the worst teams run scoring position last year. They're at upper half of the league this year. Same with average, same with ERA, same with bullpen ERA, surprisingly enough. So, yeah, I don't know if his power is a little bit unlucky, but at some point, luck to turn your way, right? In order. That's me being a little bit optimistic. Let's go to Gary. Says, not much to say. 2 teams this weekend going in completely opposite directions. We knew weeks ago this was going to be a difficult road trip, and thus far it's playing out that way. 2-4 right now. Yeah, but it's your chance to turn around. The Rays could easily finish this road trip. They're 2-4 right now. Let's say they get 5 wins. They could easily finish this road trip 7-5. I think 6-6 is the bare minimum to finish this road trip at. But yeah, you got to go out and win at least these 2 series and win them at least. You at least need to go 4-2 over this stretch, for sure. As we go, Doug Spatista says, being a Rays fan isn't for the faint of heart. 15 years of uncertainty with the owner threatening to leave. This year, the bullpen trades for Jack Hauser and Baker are all bust so far in erratic offense. I'll hold off on Jackson Baker, maybe bust this year, not Jax, I don't think. But Jackson Baker going to be in this bullpen next year. And then Hauser, again, guys, the way he fought after that 40-pitch first inning is admirable. That's something that looking forward to next time he comes out to see how he bounces back, because I expect him to be very, very good. Squidbrow says the Rays are just not locked in. Yeah, I mean, they fell off a cliff and offensively, and they continue to. So as we go to Chris C253 says, I feel like the Mariners are overrated. I disagree. I think the Mariners are the best team in the American League right now. So again, if you guys are in the live, make sure to leave a like. Again, the game tomorrow is at 10 Eastern. Just brutal. We're almost done with these late games. We have, I think, 5 left. So brutal. No getaway day on Wednesday either. That is a 10 o'clock first pitch. 10 o'clock first pitch. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. Thursday, I believe it's 10 again, and then 9, and then 4 going forward. So I hope you guys can keep joining the live. During that stretch, we've had great numbers on late night postcast with the Rays. So hopefully we can keep that up. So again, our 2 videos these last 2 days were the 2 most watched lives that we've ever had on the channel. And 80% of the people that watch those videos were not subscribed. So you guys go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's free to do. You don't get any spam mail in your email or anything like that. It just simply helps us and continues to promote us. So again, I thank you guys for always joining in here, win or loss. Obviously, a lot more losses than wins recently, but I'm confident that the Rays could at least turn around in Sacramento. So let's preview the whole series before we get out of here. For the Rays, the Rays are going to see two former Rays pitchers, two lefties. So it's going to be Springs on Monday. Springs versus Pepio, like we talked about. Pepio, who needs a bounce back, I think. So we got Pepio versus Springs, then Shane Baz, who needs a bounce back more than any pitcher. Shane Baz has the 6th worst ERA in baseball to teams with qualified pitchers versus Lopez, who is also a former Ray, and then Drew Rasmussen versus JT Ginn, who is not that great of a pitcher, 2-4 with a 4.5 ERA. So I think the Rays at least need to win 2 in these games. You could argue that starting pitch advantage in every single game. We'll see what the Rays do. We will see what the Rays do. So again, I appreciate all you guys for joining in. Make sure you leave a like before you get out of here. Follow, subscribe wherever you may be watching or listening. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night.